What could the super small device be? Here's a 1980s era Walkman that is nearly the same size. So what could it be? Well, it certainly isn't the same size as a shoebox cassette recorder, because they're enormous compared to it. Well, let's hear what it has to say for itself. Okay. This is the Sony Secutive BM-10 Dictation cassette recorder. I'd say it's probably from the early 70s, perhaps maybe to the mid-70s. It could even be late 60s. I can't really tell because it's brown, but it's got that sort of 60s feel to it. It's really, really heavy, so yeah. It's very well made. About $5 at the local Salvation Army. It's awesome. AC adapter plugged into the mains because I don't have a battery package for this. It's actually got a rechargeable that doesn't work quite right, unfortunately. I'm talking into the instrumental microphone, which is on the end, and it's got the rest of it's brown, and it's got a leather strap, a genuine leather strap. At one end, it's got this brushed aluminum chrome top and front panel, and it's got on the front it says Sony Business Product right below the microphone. Then there's a switch that says Q, start and stop. Then there's a microphone and a remote plug and a monitor switch plug thing, whatever, on the bottom. It's actually a jack, sorry. And then on the bottom there's the battery package thing. On the top you've got a red button that says dictation. It's actually record. Fast forward. When it's in the forward mode, it says forward, not play. Yep. But when you put it in stop, there's a little slider window in there, and it turns it into rewind. This little window. This is F.F. when you're in play, and REW for when you're in rewind or in stop. That's kind of cool. There's a matchstick needle, meter on the top for telling you how your recording level is, but it doesn't actually work. It's jammed. On the front, next to the Secutive label, is a white button for ejecting the cassette. And on the back, you've got a volume control and a metal plate that has holes in it for the speaker. Right now, you're seeing it in this genuine leather case, and it's quite cool. Everything was made in Japan. I'm now going to try it with an external Sony microphone. I'm now going to pause this. It has a little stop. Okay, we're starting again, and I'm going to try the Q feature. I stopped talking. I don't even know if Q even works on this thing. It doesn't even seem to really do anything. I'm using a Sony external microphone. This is a genuine Sony branded microphone, and these Sony branded microphones will only work with Sony equipment. Well, the microphone part does, but the remote switch will not, because the remote plug on Sony products is different than regular ones, which is why Sony products, when you're using them with a non-Sony microphone, do not have the correct remote. That's why they don't work. Anyway, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, testing 1, 2, 3, 4. This machine is AC biased, and I apologize for any bad sound quality generated by the cheap cassette that I'm using to record this with. Let's end the test. I haven't got a line in, so I'm not going to bother trying any music recording with it. End of test. Yep, that's it pretty much as to what it is. There's a flaw that I almost guarantee that you wouldn't notice at all unless I told you. But I'm going to give you a guess at it first. Hear that funny tick 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 noise? What usually causes that on an old cassette recorder, or a real trio for that matter, that's been left alone for a long, long, long time? Give you a couple seconds to ponder that. Well, if you guessed left in play, then you're correct. If you guessed anything else, you're completely wrong. Because it was left in play, and all the idlers and everything were left engaged for so long, and it put a notch in the pinch roller that you don't even notice when you're listening to music or recording. I can't actually really show you the dented roller, but it is dented, and it's quite noticeable, in fact, when you're when you stick your finger on it and it's going around. I will play a music recording as soon as I figure out where my music recordings are at. A bunch of them over here. Just open that by yourself. There's a little tiny paddle that opens that up. Clydesight has a BM-11, which is really, really radically different from this one. Hang on a minute. Oh, hang on. Let's try a different cassette. Sorry about that. That's this thing coming loose. Good enough. By the way, that's off K-Tel Records. I don't think they're no. WMG doesn't own them. I think they went out of business. I don't know. But if I get copyright claims for that, I do not want them, so don't bother. I paid for my music. Anyway, that's all, folks. As Looney Tunes would say, I guess.